We are so glad to welcome Jen Hatmaker to Lubbock Christian University today. This is our ChapChat, where we invite difference makers to help us reflect on some of the same questions. And we're so thankful to have Jen. Welcome to LCU.
I'm so glad to be here. What a fun morning already.
So our first question is, what's your favorite word and why?
Oh, I like that question. I mean, you're asking a word girl, right? That I make my living of words. And I have so many favorites, but I think maybe my favorite for right now is, I love the word restore. You and I were just talking about this a minute ago. I love the word restore. I think it just is the banner over our generation right now. There's just so much to redeem, and there's so much about our world that's sad and that's broken down and that is hurting, and yet we have this God who restores. And so this is a word I speak in my house a lot. And in fact, I read in Don Miller's book, one of his books, I don't remember which one, where he and his wife Betsy had decided, in our home, this is going to be a home of restoration. We're going to restore people when they come in here. You know, the world will just take and take and take and take and peel away and shave off and shave off. And so half the time people, our own people, even our families, come home just depleted. And so he said, we are going to be a house of restoration. And it moved me so much that we wrote restore over our front door.
Wow.
And just said, whatever life has stolen from you today, this month, this year, we hope that in some small way, when you are around our table, when you're standing in our kitchen with us, when you're sitting on our porch, that in partnership with God, we are able to restore a little bit back to you, a little bit of dignity, a little bit of hope, a little bit of mercy and grace and friendship. And so what a great word. Indeed. What a great charge to be a part of God's work of restoration in our generation.
Oh, thank you for that. What a beautiful, that's so great. God is a God of restoration.
Yes, he is.
That is a powerful concept.
He fixes things.
Absolutely. So this may be related. What gives you hope for the future?
Oh, I'm incredibly hopeful for the future. I had a season probably 8 years ago where I was in a season of sort of spiritual deconstruction, and everything felt wobbly to me. I drifted in sort of a season of cynicism and frustration and just thinking, oh, what is the hope for the American church? And it was a dark season, and important. God was using it for a lot of spiritual upheaval in our lives that absolutely affected our trajectory. But I've emerged from that season hopeful again, where I have opened my eyes wide to see how active God is in our world right now, in our communities, even in our American culture that's just such a broke down thing. And so I am very specifically hopeful. I'm pinning so much hope on our young adults, the students that you have here, our young adults. They're really special. I mean, they really are special. I'm watching them and I'm paying attention, and I just think, oh, they are, I think there's a work and a holiness and a task in front of them that's unprecedented, actually. I really think what they are able to do has never been possible before.
Right.
There were too many boundaries. There were too many barriers. Too much just too much opposition. But they have a clear path in front of them to run, and they're crazy brave.
Yes.
They're so crazy brave that it almost feels foolhardy to me in my 40s. But I love their courage, and I think they're passionate about the right things, and they're able to hold loosely the things that don't matter as much. It's a real gift. So I think, listen, I think the church is really going to thrive on their watch. I do. I'm excited about them, and I'm proud of them. And so I'm just on the sideline cheering them on. Let's go as far as you can go. We want to be your tailwind, passing the baton to you, because I think they're so capable and so special.
So true. There's a sense of what's possible that's so much bigger than what I grew up with. And the world is smaller, and the things that our students think is within their reach, and they're right.
That's right.
But they're willing to go and seek those things, which is really a powerful combination.
Completely agree.
Yeah, thank you for that. So, Jen, you've been an influence to so many are, and I know that you had the chance to mentor and to pour into the lives of people that you come into contact with. I'm wondering, who's done that for you? Who are people in your life that have been important influences?
Yeah. I have a small handful of mentors in my space, women who have pioneered before me, and I'm so incredibly grateful for them, because they plowed up a road that wasn't really plowed up. They struck out down kind of a wilderness path as women who teach the Bible and who lead and who, you know, command a degree of authority over the people they are influencing. And so I owe them a debt of gratitude I can never pay.
Yes.
So they continue to mentor me professionally and spiritually and as a leader. But honestly, there's no other answer for me to say than my mom and dad. My parents, I mean, there really isn't. They are the substance of my faith. Really, my mom and dad are so interesting. My dad was a pastor, kind of a rogue pastor, okay? I don't want you to get any ideas. Like, he was kind of off the beaten path. But his faith was so, there was no trappings around it. And so we never felt constricted by our faith. We never felt like we were hedged in by rules we didn't understand or expectations put on the family that's on staff. We never had any of that. Our dad was so wild. And so his brand of faith is, it's Bob Goff brand. It's exuberant. It's over the top. He's your biggest fan. He's your biggest cheerleader. He's for you. And I mean, everything about my dad is amazing. And my mom was somebody in the family has to be stable, right? None of us are, none of the kids. And so, not my dad. So our mom is the steady spiritual anchor in our home and always was. She's not a lot of words. We have all the words. My siblings and my dad, we took all the words. There's none left. But every morning for as long as I can remember, and still to this day, my mom gets up really early and she does this very quiet Bible study, and she has filled, tens of thousands of pages of journals every morning. And it doesn't turn into a sermon that she always launched on us.
Discipline.
Can you imagine?
Oh my.
Every day. And so my mom's faith was more quiet and steady and sturdy, and it was just this bedrock underneath us all. And then my dad was the spiritual energy and the cheerleader. And I honestly, I really cannot even imagine where I'd be without them, because they gave me a faith that I loved. I didn't want to run away from it. I didn't want to dismantle it. I didn't want to fix it. It was just true and real in all the most important ways. And so my parents are sincerely my mentors and always have been.
Thank you for that. Our parents should have met each other. They would have liked each other. That's a great picture you've painted. I appreciate that. Thank you. Of course, at LCU, we have all these great students. They come through here and they buy into to what we're offering, this transformation that's available here, and want to go out and change the world, whatever discipline or profession they choose. And I wonder, as you think about them and that generation that you care so much about, what's the one piece of advice you have for our students?
I love your work. I love what you do. I'm so grateful that you're investing in this generation so deeply. It's so lasting, it's so long-term, what they're learning here and what you're building into them. I would tell the students probably the same things I'm telling my own kids, who are roughly the same age. You know, my son will be a freshman, a college freshman in the fall, so I'm here. I'm now shockingly a parent of this age group. I don't know how it happened.
How did that happen?
It just slips right through your fingers. But this is what I tell my kids that I hope for them. And it's really simple. I've boiled it down to just sort of the fundamental hopes and dreams I have for every one of my kids. And all of this can scale. It can scale to wherever they go and wherever God takes them and whatever their dreams turn out to be. But I hope three things for them. I first of all tell my kids, and I hope it doesn't sound trite, I want them to be kind, especially in this age group, students, high school, middle school. Kids are so lonely and so sad and so left out. And that, of course, we know that goes on. That goes on into adulthood. We just package it better. You know, we polish it up a little bit better. But I want to raise kids who are they've got an eye out for the people around them that need a good word, a kind word, a hug, and inclusion. It's just so life-changing. I was a kid who was left out a lot. I was on the outside of things and was so incredibly awkward and just did not know how to fit. And I remember to this day just very simple, kind words that people said to me
Makes
and
such
the
a
right
difference.
moment.
Oh.
Oh, it makes such a difference.
Yes.
Literally life-changing. And so I hope to raise kids who are never out to self-preserve or self-advance or, heaven forbid, gain applause at someone else's expense. But they're the one in the mix that's kind, that's including. So be kind, be you. We have 5 kids. It's so many. They all live with us. It's a lot. And they're incredibly different. All 5 of them incredibly different.
Yes.
So special in their own way. But I've watched through the landmine of middle school and high school. I've watched some of that beautiful core identity, the way God has made them, just get chipped away, right? It's tempting. It's tempting to polish it up so that it looks better on the outside, or go with the party line because that'll get you whatever.
Yes.
Advanced, more popular, whatever, fill in the blank. That happens. That's forever. That's life.
Yeah.
So I worry sometimes that by the time our kids are young adults, they've given so many pieces of themselves away, they don't even know who they are anymore. So be you, because it's so spectacular. Just whatever's quirky about you, yay.
Yes.
Whatever's weird about you, we love it, right? What your loves, your interests, that's also purposed. And so if they can preserve that and keep that safe, I feel like they are such a tool in God's hands, because He made them intentionally. So be you, and if somebody doesn't like that, that's not your responsibility to change to make them happy. Right? Find your people.
Yes.
Be you. Be kind. And then last, it's so simple. Just love Jesus. Really love Jesus. I don't, the stuff that we wrap around it, all the wrappings and the trappings, I'm loose with those. But if you love Jesus deeply, if you are committed to Him, if you love Him, and if you're willing to follow Him, I'm not worried. I'm not afraid for you.
Yes.
I don't feel like I need to control this. I know that if you're listening to Him, that you adore Him and His leadership in your life. That is the most I can hope for. And so that's what I would tell your students too, that at the end of the day, be kind to everyone, especially the ones that are hard to be kind to. Be you, because you're amazing, you're wonderful, you're purposed, you're intentional. And love Jesus. And that's it. That's your future. Your future is secure under that umbrella.
Simple but so profound, Jen. Thank you so much for sharing this edition of ChapChat with us.
Thanks for having me.
You bet.